the shadow of the Empire, in the vast expanse of the galaxy, where stars burned like eternal furnaces and nebulae painted the void with ethereal colors. The Zorathian Empire reigned supreme. For millennia, they had been the unchallenged masters of the cosmos. Their fleets, numbering in the millions, were colossal behemoths of dark alloy and pulsating energy shields. Each ship a floating fortress capable of obliterating entire star systems. The Zorathians themselves were a race of towering insectoid warriors, their exoskeletons gleaming with bioluminescent veins that pulsed with the rhythm of conquest. Led by the grand overlord Vexor, whose chitinous form was adorned with the trophies of 1,000 subjugated worlds. They spread across the stars like a plague, devouring resources, enslaving species, and erasing any who dared resist. The Empire's doctrine was simple: expansion or extinction. They believed in the purity of strength, where the weak were fodder for the strong. Their technology was unparalleled warp drives that folded space like paper, weapons that harnessed black holes to swallow fleets whole, and psychic amplifiers that allowed their overlords to dominate minds from light years away. No civilization had ever withstood them. The galactic concord, a loose alliance of lesser races, had crumbled in mere cycles. The crystalline beings of Andoria shattered under Zorothian bombardments. The nomadic fleets of the Quarics were hunted to extinction. Even the ancient AI hives of the core worlds had been reprogrammed into loyal servants. But in the fringes of known space, whispers persisted of an anomalous species that had not yet been catalogued, let alone conquered. Humans, primitive by Zorothian standards, confined to a single blue-green world called Earth and its scattered colonies. Scouts had reported their existence: bipedal mammals, fractious and divided, wielding rudimentary fusion drives and kinetic weapons. Vexor dismissed them as insignificant. They are but insects in the garden of the stars. He had proclaimed from his throne on the flagship Dominion's Fury, a vessel so massive it eclipsed suns. We shall crush them as we have all others. The invasion began as routine. A vanguard fleet of 10,000 ships warped into the Sol system, their arrival heralded by gravitational distortions that rattled Earth's moon. Alarms blared across human outposts. The United Earth Defense Force UEDF, a ragtag assembly of retrofitted freighters and experimental prototypes, scrambled to respond. But at the heart of humanity's defense was the UNS Odyssey, a lone experimental dreadnought, commissioned just cycles before the invasion. The Odyssey was the brainchild of Dr. Elena Vasquez, a brilliant engineer who had fused ancient human ingenuity with salvaged alien tech from previous skirmishes. The Odyssey was no ordinary ship. Sleek and angular, its hull plated with adaptive nanomaterials that could shift density to absorb impacts. It housed a revolutionary drive, the Quantum Cascade Engine QCE. This allowed instantaneous jumps through probability fields, defying traditional warp limitations. Its armaments included railguns that fired slugs at relativistic speeds, plasma lances harvested from neutron stars, and an experimental weapon called the Echo Kanana device that replicated enemy attacks back at them with amplified force. But its true power lay in its AI core, Athena, and sentient intelligence modeled after human neural patterns, capable of adaptive learning and unyielding loyalty. Captain Marcus Hale commanded the Odyssey. A veteran of border wars, with scars from plasma burns etching his face, Hale was a man of few words but unbreakable resolve. His crew, a diverse mix of soldiers, scientists, and survivors from Earth's fractured history, embodied humanity's chaotic spirit. As the Zorathian fleet materialized, Hale stood on the bridge, his eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the encroaching armada. "Status report," he barked. "Shields at full." "QC primed," replied Lieutenant Kira Voss, the tactical officer, her fingers dancing over consoles. "Enemy numbers overwhelming," added Ensign Raj Patel from sensors. "They're hailing us demanding surrender." Hale smirked. "Patch it through." The view screen flickered to life, revealing Vexor's grotesque form. Primitive flesh beings, the Overlord hissed through translators, his mandibles clicking. Bow to the Zorathian Empire, or be eradicated. Hale leaned forward. This is Captain Hale of the UNS Odyssey. We don't bow. We fight. Vexor laughed, a sound like grinding metal. One ship against our might. Foolish. Your end begins now. Transmission cut, and the Zorathian vanguard opened fire. Beams of antimatter lanced through space, vaporizing asteroids in their path. The Odyssey danced, its QCE flickering it in and out of phase, evading the barrage. Railguns spat back, punching holes through enemy shields. A Zorathian cruiser exploded in a bloom of plasma, but it was a drop in the ocean. They're adapting, Voss warned. Shields modulating to our frequencies. Hale nodded. Athena, initiate protocol echo. The AI's voice, calm and feminine, responded, engaging. The echo cannon hummed to life, capturing the energy signatures of incoming fire and hurling them back. Zorathian beams reflected, tearing through their own lines. Confusion rippled through the fleet, though. Could one vessel turn their weapons against them? Vexor roared from his throne. Focus all fire on that anomaly. Destroy it. But the Odyssey was elusive, jumping through quantum probabilities, peering behind enemy formations to unleash devastation. In the first hour, it claimed a dozen ships. Humanity's other defenses faltered. Coalies on Mars burned. Orbital stations shattered, but the Odyssey endured. A thorn in the Empire's side, as the battle raged, Hale reflected on humanity's history. Wars on Earth had forged them, from ancient battles with swords to nuclear standoffs. They were survivors, adapters. The Zorathians, for all their power, were rigid, bound by hierarchy. That would be their undoing. By the end of the first engagement, the vanguard had lost 100 vessels. Vexor pulled back, reassessing. This human ship? It defies logic. Summon the main fleet. The shadow of the Empire deepened, but the Odyssey shone as a beacon of defiance. The tide of battle, the main Zorathian fleet arrived like a storm front, blotting out the stars. Over 1 million ships, from agile interceptors to planet-cracker dreadnoughts, warped in, their combined mass-warping spacetime. Earth's defenses were in tatters. The moon's surface glowed with craters and debris fields choked the orbits. The UEDF fleet, what remained of it, rallied around the Odyssey. But it was clear this was humanity's last stand. On the bridge, Hale paced. Athena analysis? Their formation is textbook Imperial, layered shields, psychic command nets linking vessels, the AI replied. But we've disrupted their vanguard. They're cautious now. Dr. Vasquez, monitoring from engineering, chimed in via comms. The QCE is holding, but overuse risks cascade failure. We need to hit their command structure. Hal agreed. Target the flagships. Voss plot jumps to their rear echelons. The battle recommenced with fury. Zorathian psychic amplifiers broadcast waves of fear, but the Odyssey's neural dampeners shielded the crew. Humanity's fighters launched, swarming like bees, but were swatted aside. The Odyssey quantum jumped into the heart of the fleet, its plasma lances carving through holes. Explosions chained, ships colliding in the chaos. Vexor, aboard the Dominion's Fury, deployed countermeasures. Activate the void generators. Ensnare them in null space. Dark rifts opened, gravitational traps designed to pull ships into oblivion. The Odyssey skimmed the edges, its adaptive hull warping to escape. Echo cannon overload, Patel shouted. Incoming fire too intense? Divert power from life support, Hale ordered. The cannon fired, a maelstrom of reflected energy that annihilated a swath of the fleet. Thousands of Zorathian ships vanished in fireballs, their debris forming new hazards. But the Empire adapted. Boarding parties teleported aboard the Odyssey, insectoid warriors scuttling through corridors. Crew fought back with rifles and improvised weapons engineers, welding doors shut, Marines ambushing in 0G. Hale himself joined the fray, his sidearm barking as he felled a Zorathian elite. They're probing our weaknesses, Athena warned. Learning from each engagement, Vasquez, in engineering, jury-rigged a counter, a feedback loop through the psychic nets. If we can hijack their command signals, worked. The Odyssey broadcast false orders, turning Zorathian ships against each other. Friendly fire erupted, paranoia spreading like virus. Vexor sensed the intrusion. Isolate the nets. This human vessel is a plague? As the tide turned slightly, Hale received a distress call from Earth. Cities burning under orbital strikes. We can't hold forever, he muttered, in a daring maneuver. The Odyssey jumped to the Dominion's furious shadow, unloading its arsenal point-blank. Shields buckled, but Vexor's ship retaliated with a black hole torpedo. The Odyssey evaded, but the blast wave crippled auxiliary systems by battle's midpoint. The Zorathian fleet was halved, but humanity teetered on extinction. The Odyssey limped, its crew exhausted, yet unbroken. The heart of Defiance repairs were frantic aboard the Odyssey. Sparks flew into engineering as Vasquez and her team patched hull breaches. "We've lost 30% crew," she reported grimly. "But the core holds." Hull gathered survivors on the bridge. "The Zorathians think us weak because we're few. But that's our strength to improvise. We endure." Inspiration struck from history. Tales of David versus Goliath, Thermopylae, where the few held against many. Athena simulated strategies drawing from human wars. The Empire regrouped. Vexor deploying elite legions, the Shadow Claws, psychic warriors, enhanced with dark matter implants. They assaulted mentally, inducing hallucinations. Crew saw loved ones dying. Training held mindfulness. Protocols from Earth's ancient philosophies countered the assault. The Odyssey struck back, using decoys, holographic projections of itself, confusing sensors. Real jumps followed, surgical strikes on supply lines. Zorothian logistics faltered, ships running low on energy. Vexor, enraged, personally led a counterattack. His shuttle docked with a captured human outpost, interrogating survivors. "What is this ship's secret?" he demanded. A dying Marine spat. "Humanity." Dismissive, Vexor ordered a full assault. But the Odyssey had evolved. Athena integrated captured Zorothian tech, upgrading shields. The Echo Cannon now predicted attacks, preempting them. In the climax of this phase, the Odyssey faced Vexor's personal guard fleet. A duel in the void, maneuvers like chess, each move countered. Hale's intuition shone, jumping into a gas giant's atmosphere, using gravity to slingshot torpedoes. Losses mounted. Voss fell in a boarding action, her last act sabotaging an enemy teleporter. Hell mourned briefly, then pressed on. The fleet dwindled to hundreds of thousands, but Earth's surface was scarred. Billions perished, yet underground bunkers held, broadcasting defiance. Vexor realized the cost. "This one ship has bled us more than empires." The heart of Defiance beat strong, setting the stage for the end. The fall of Titans. Exhaustion gripped both sides. The Zorathian Empire, once unstoppable, was fractured mutonies in the ranks as warriors questioned Vexor's leadership. The Odyssey, battered but operational, became legend. Broadcasts from Earth inspired, "One ship stands. So do we." Hale, wounded but resolute, planned the final gambit. Athena, overload the QCE, create a cascade rift, pull their flagship in. Risky. It could destroy them too. But no choice. Vexor, sensing vulnerability, massed for the kill. End this abomination. The fleets clashed one last time near Jupiter's storms. The Odyssey weaved through lightning, using anomalies to disrupt shields. Echo Cannon at maximum, reflecting Empire's might back tenfold. Vexor's ship loomed. Boarding teams exchanged humans in exosuits. The Zorathian's corridors ran with ichor and blood, in the Dominion's Fury's throne room. Hall confronted Vexor. "Your empire ends here." Vexor lunged, mandibles snapping. Hale dodged, firing point blank. The Overlord fell, his psychic scream echoing. With command broken, the fleet faltered. The Odyssey activated the rift, swallowing remnants. Silence fell. The Empire shattered, survivors fleeing. Humanity rebuilt from ashes. The Odyssey, a symbol, one ship, one species. Unku. UNQUERABLE. In the galaxy's annals, it was written. The unstoppable met their end against one human ship.